Chopper. Now, Chopper through the years has had a lot of massive change, okay? And that's the theme of this video, is Chopper, what he could have been, what he is, and potentially where he is going in the future. Now, in the beginning of the story, all right, Chopper was the classic black sheep, okay? He was an outcast. He was banished from his initial herd, and everybody thought he was a monster. Whereas now in the story, he, in my opinion, is primarily garnered for merch sales. Like, he definitely seems like that cute chibi thing that you could basically sell to anyone and have hanging from your keychain. However, I really don't think that was the original intention with Chopper, okay? He had insane potential, and where I want to go with this is the cryptic area. Wendigos, skinwalkers, okay? Because obviously this is not only more intimidating, but the depth in which your character you can really create from is insane. I mean, think about it. By the post time skip, Oda already probably knew where he was going to put Chopper at, and it was not there. Whereas if the crew pulled up and had Chopper looking like this, feasting on a marine or something, or even better yet, a potential ally or even a Straw Hat themselves, I mean, obviously completely drastic direction. As the story progresses, we can see more and more the way Oda wants to shape Chopper, okay? And that again is, in my opinion, strictly for merch sales. But the fumbled potential here, you guys, like, just hear me out. Sure, current Chopper isn't really all that menacing, all that threatening. I mean, sure, some of his points are pretty effective, and he's just a genius doctor, but sometimes I do think Oda has to kind of throw in a problem for Chopper to solve involving medicine of some kind to really, you know, remind us, hey, this character's still in the story. But what if this isn't the case? Like, what if Oda is actually fluffing Chopper up and making it appear that he's harmless, but in fact, we're actually going to go the entirely different direction, you know, this 5D chess move, because the fandom wants this. We want this back. If you've been a fan of Chopper, you're either a fan of him in the post time skip or in the pre time skip, and a lot of the pre time skip fans, we ended up unaliving ourselves in the post time. We are no longer there, okay, because somewhere along that point, this character just ceased to exist. But the thing is, he can come back. What if his fruit was awakened? Okay, what if his fruit was not only awakened, but he was almost pushed to this scenario, right, via Rumble Ball overdose, or having to really channel his aggression, or basically overcome a massive challenging facing not only himself, but his prized crew, okay? Because essentially, he would be transformed into this. And this, I think, is the true form that Chopper would take. I feel like when he came up with the character, he had this in mind, right? Because I don't see in any world that this final product Chopper was the point or the intention in the story at all. Bringing this back into the mix, or bringing this into the mix at all, right, would be a game changer. And you can, in theory, do this, right? He has a human-human model, right? And the way you could even potentially do this is that Wendigos and Skinwalkers take the actual myth itself, right? Wendigos, according to legend, are people that spend too much time in the wilderness, okay? They start consuming things that they probably shouldn't, and thus transformed into the beast that they reside in, okay? The beast that they hunt or are afraid to be hunted by, they practically transform into, okay? And go around the forest, oh my goodness. Because the Wendigo tall tale, like the myth of the Wendigo, is actually really fascinating and lines up almost perfectly with Chopper's original intentions. Wendigos were once humans that spent too much time in the wilderness, right? They ended up becoming beasts, right? Over time, they gave up their humanity in a sense, okay? And thus the Wendigo was born. Why does that sound eerily paralleled with Chopper? And that's kind of what happened here. If you guys remember, Chopper threw away his humanity to turn into the beast that the crew needed, right? And it happened more than once. And that aura, man, if you can just encapsulate that in a test tube, in a bottle, and cap it, right? And then just basically spread it on these manga panels and then have it beautifully animated, okay? If it was adapted perfectly, Chopper would be honestly, top 3 characters in One Piece. If you did this strategy, which is force Chopper into some insane predicament, insane challenge, where the only option is to dig deep or throw away his humanity. He potentially could awaken his fruit, and then you would have this insane monster. Or I could just be dreaming, okay, because that sounds really good, but let's face it, the Choppers we get in the story now in the anime is a far cried echo of once what was, okay? They had so much potential, but again, merch needs to be sold, Oda needs to get his bag, so I guess in a way I understand that you have to kill off certain characters to have a fat bag or some, bands in the bank account. Totally get that. And never mind what they're doing in the live action, because only God knows what their intention is if it's not selling massive amounts of merch. But I mean, honestly, catch me buying one of those merch hats because it's adorable. I get it. So yeah, tell me about what you guys think about this video. Is Chopper going in the direction of a Wendigo Skinwalker-esque beast where you see him throw away his humanity? Or are we going to see a devolved version of Chopper going forward where he just continuously gets cuter and cuter and less of a threat? I mean, it is a battle shonen manga, but at the same time, the story, it's heating up a lot. We're in the final saga. We might not ever even have time to dive back into Chopper. This might be the final nail in the coffin for his character. But tell me what you guys think about this and comment below.